to Storyboard. I'm Shubhani Gharat. ADX growth is 2 to 3x in India as compared to global markets, says Adam Gerhart, Mindshare's global CEO, who was visiting India this week. We caught up with him and spoke to him about many things, including Mindshare's proposition of good growth, them picking up the Cannes Lion Media Network of the Year award for 2023, and the changes that the media business is going through. Listen in. Adam, welcome to CNBC-TV18.
Thank you for having me.
So, very short trip to India. Tell us more about it. What is on the agenda? What is your plan for the country?
It is a whirlwind tour. We started with Bangalore, then we moved on to Mumbai and then Delhi, all within 4 days.
Wow.
So packing a lot in. We're seeing growth that we haven't seen in years. And in particular, a large part of it is coming from this market. And when I look at the growth rate from an ad expenditure perspective, it's 2 to 3x this market, what it is at a global norm. And when I look at that from a GDP perspective, it's virtually the same thing, where globally it's kind of 2.8%. And here it's 3 times that almost.
And your visit is on the heels of Mindshare winning the Media Network of the Year at Cannes Lions Festival of Creativity.
Yeah.
Congratulations on that. Tell us more about it. How does it feel to win it for second time in 4 years?
It feels immensely gratifying and humbling at the same time. As you say, it's second time in 4 years. We had this year 99 shortlists, 33 medals across 13 countries. Yeah. And for us, it was about innovation, but also innovation with impact. And we saw those two things come to the forefront, much of it because of the work that was done here in India.
This year round, one of the most talked about subjects at Cannes Lion or any other advertising festival has been AI. So how is it impacting your business, Adam?
The application to our business then is really in a couple of different ways. From a creative perspective, the ability to create multiple iterations and dynamically serve those is absolutely there. We're already starting to see it. It's just starting to impact the algorithms, the way in which we bid. But I think the biggest area that we're focused on is how we leverage AI for predictive analytics, where we're entering this period where we've gone from media being about scale to then precision to permission and how we engage with consumers in an ethical and responsible way to this era of prediction. And prediction is all about how we can help our clients grow by identifying new pockets of success and new ways in which they can bring either new consumers in or different diversified growth streams.
So we spoke about AI, we spoke about complexity. So how is, on that note, Mindshare evolving as a media agency, as a media network, Adam?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing, you said it right there, we want to be more than a media agency. Clients are demanding it from us right now, where the complexity that they are facing means that they want simplification of the challenges and they want more confidence in the decisions. And we're focusing on those two areas to make it really easy to work with us and existing partners or existing teams, but also to give them confidence in the decisions that we are making on their behalf, whether it's investment decisions, whether it's outcomes and ROI decisions. And it's the combination of those two that mean that we are reshaping the capabilities we have, the processes that we have, the way in which we partner with them, and everything in between.
So Adam, it's been 2 years since you launched your key focus on good growth, which I believe promotes diversified, sustainable investments that are good for business and the world. Can you tell us how it has panned out so far, and can you elaborate a bit more on this focus?
Yeah, I think the impetus behind good growth was really to reconcile the notion that there are so many different constituent groups in the ecosystem today. There's consumers, there is businesses and shareholders, and they're not at odds. At the end of the day, we need to help our clients grow, but there's a way to do it in a responsible manner that helps satiate everyone in the ecosystem.
Sure.
And we found that we can deliver growth for our clients in a multitude of ways. The way in which they define growth is what differs. For some clients, they want to grow in a D2C capacity. Other clients want retail. Some want short-term sales. Some want lifetime value. our view is that we have to be growth architects for our clients in the future and help them on that journey. And in doing so, we can deliver something that's more meaningful to consumers, but also delivers business impact that is quantifiable, not only today, but for the future.
So Adam, you are here in India for a couple of days. How do you look at, the Indian media landscape today?
We're incredibly bullish on it. I think if I had to sum it up, I would say it's a combination of opportunity and velocity. The speed and the pace at which we are seeing this market change and evolve, and the dynamism of this market in particular, is unlike anything we're seeing elsewhere in the world. And so for us, it is how do we tap into that? How do we harness it, not just in this market, but globally as well? The same types of trends, but they are much more accelerated, and it is a very different scale. If you take just something like mobile gaming, there's 650 million mobile gamers. That's more than certain populations of most of the world's countries. The scale of it is unprecedented, and a combination of factors mean that the velocity of some of these changes is taking off, whether it is the age of the population, whether it is the mobile-first mentality. It means that the trends that we are seeing here are accelerating at a pace that we haven't seen otherwise.
Anything that looks particularly promising to you?
I think
from a mindshare perspective?
Yeah, I think certainly some of the trends that we're watching here and we are leaning into, in particular, e-commerce, no question. 19% of the world's retail sales is now e-commerce. And I think that trend here is only taking off because of the mobile-first capacity. Things like influencer marketing here in India are becoming really, really advanced very quickly. And so I think those sorts of trends are the ones that we're leaning into.
Sure. When we set foot into 2023, the terms recession and economic hardships, had taken center stage. As 7 months down the line, we are catching up, Adam. Has it eased out? What is it globally? What is the impact that you're seeing across different markets?
We haven't changed our forecast for the second half of this year. We're still predicting about 5.9% growth for the full year. But make no mistake, there is certainly a degree of skepticism around whether or not that will come to fruition. And there's a huge degree of volatility, whether it's from supply chain issues or whether it's from war and tensions from a socioeconomic perspective. So there's a high degree of us watching it incredibly closely, but we're still bullish on where we'll net out for the year.
So Adam, there is also a lot of talk, which I'm hearing from agency heads, from clients, that every dollar that they are spending on advertising is going through a lot of scrutiny. What does it mean for you? Does it put a lot of pressure? Also, when so much of money is going towards digital, where measurement is also a big challenge, what is your outlook on this?
There's no question the business pressure that our clients are facing has only compounded over the last 2 years. And we don't see that easing. The complexity, the challenges that they are facing. And I think our biggest solution to that is helping them predict outcomes and analytics far more aggressively than we ever have before, whether it's brand stature and brand health, whether it is where sales are coming from so they know where to unlock new pockets of growth. It's the biggest area that we are investing and doubling down in, which is how do we give clients confidence in where they're putting their money.
And then along with Adam, we also caught up with Amin Lakhani, CEO Mindshare South Asia, and spoke to him about Adam's goals, or the goals that he has set for the India market, their expectations from the Indian festival season, and much more. Listen in.
We've kind of now crossed into the top 10 for Mindshare, and his wish list is that I should take it to being the number 2 in the next 2 years.
And how do you do that?
That's a very good question. We are preparing, as we would like to call it, a blueprint to kind of really take Mindshare to the next level of growth.
If you can give us a sneak peek into this blueprint of the Mindshare India growth, and what will be the key focus areas there?
So clearly the focus area is dialing up our play on digital transformation. When I say digital transformation, it's a larger subject, but within that we've prioritized 3 key areas. One is data consulting, that's the first area. The second one is e-commerce. The third one is really stepping up the acceleration on performance marketing. And the fourth one is building center of excellence for influencer marketing. So I think these are 4 areas that we are clearly calling them out and focusing on where we really want to get our wins from.
Okay, and how does the new business pipeline look like? You just won the big Maruti Suzuki business, the big Maruti Suzuki pitch. If you can tell us more on that.
So from a new business perspective, the year has been fabulous so far. All right, from the Maruti Suzuki win, in addition to that, and at an overall level, I think from a mindshare group perspective, we're sitting on almost 2,000 plus crores of new business that we won this year alone. So we've kind of moved the needle in that space significantly. And hopefully all these wins will help us end the year on a high.
Amin, we are just catching up ahead of the festive season. Tell us what are your expectations from the festival this year?
Very bullish on the second half of the year, right? While the clients are gearing up to increase their play in the second half of the year, the media ecosystem itself has geared up with a fantastic lineup of World Cup, the Asia Cup, and the impact property calendar across all regions, whether it is KBC or Shark Tank or some of the other lineup of things that we are going to see. So, quite bullish in the second half of the year, and it should help us, really dial up overall addicts in the next 5 to 6 months.
It is time for a short break. On the other side, we have Reilly, Chief Creative Officer of WPP, sharing his views on the future of creativity and why it's important to bring humor back into advertising. Welcome back. We had many fascinating conversations at Cannes Lions Festival of Creativity this year, covering everything from the impact of AI to purpose-driven marketing. This one is another special chat. We caught up with Reilly, Chief Creative Officer of WPP, sharing his views on the future of creativity and why it's important to bring humor back into advertising. Listen in.
So hello, Rob.
Hello.
It's lovely to see you. You're in Cannes.
Yeah, I thank you for putting us on the beach, not in some room. So this is beautiful here.
We're going to zoom out a little bit. In your role overseeing this sort of mammoth organization and its creative output, when you look at the progression of work, say over the past few years, we know it's a great output, but tell me what, out of all the work that has come out recently, what is the direction that you think that it should go in? Like, does something exemplify that direction for you?
Well, 2 things. People talk about purpose-led work and maybe there's too much of it. There's not enough of it, in my opinion. Brands
so you don't think there's a saturation? You don't think that?
Brands have filled in where governments have not had the ability to help people because of money or other reasons. So brands have really stepped up and filled in. And why would we want to stop that? What I do think we need to figure out is how do we bring humor back into advertising? And that's something we've talked about with Cannes, we've talked about with other award shows, and maybe they need to create separate tracks for comedy and humor in advertising, because it is, if there's a category for it, magically you see more work that will be entered to it. So I think we need to make changes because we've lacked a bit of a sense of humor.
You think it's getting too serious?
What?
You think it's getting too serious?
Well, and not because that's what's winning awards. I don't want to blame purpose for the lack of humor. Mm-hmm. I think we just have shied away from it. We got a little too scared of how far we can push things. And India, a country that's made tremendous work with humor. Right. Australia, tremendous work. The United States,
Thailand.
UK. But those 4 countries, you think about it, there's not a lot of funny work coming out of those countries. Mm-hmm. Yes. Thailand, thank God, is still our, last hope for crazy work. So I'm hoping we see more of it. And I think we have to figure out how to bring more humor into advertising, but not at the expense of taking purpose out. I think it's really important that these brands continue to play that role in people's lives. And I think it's what young people look for too. They're okay with you making money, but you better be doing the right thing.
Absolutely. And I don't see why you can't have humor and purpose, right?
Of course.
I mean, it's just the creative device that you use at the end of the day.
I think you're absolutely right.
Yeah. But while we're speaking about creativity, and we are, of course, the topic and the point of every conversation right now is AI. Everyone's talking about AI, ChatGPT, Bard, the race for AI supremacy. Quickly, like, what are some of your top line thoughts on the conversations that are happening here and also back home?
Listen, we're deep into AI. We've been using it a lot. Obviously, it's been used.
There was a huge
in
announcement
media
recently.
Yeah, and now we're partnering with NVIDIA. So, and we've been investing in it, and we've got very smart people already working on things within our own organization and for our clients. So it's not like we're we jumping on it. It's happening. We're a big part of it. We're in the middle of it. For creative people, you know, what has been lost is the ability to experiment and to try things and fail because there's not enough time or money.
Right.
AI, I think, will help creative people experiment. And for art directors and for writers, I don't think it'll replace actually making brilliant work. But just like when digital photography was invented, just like when the computer was invented, these are tools that will hopefully make creative people better, faster, but it won't replace creative people, in my opinion.
Now, tell me if you agree with this statement or not.
Sure.
And it was said.
No. Just kidding.
So,
Go ahead.
so I don't know if you know Nick Law, right?
I had dinner with Nick Law last night, and Dave
so
Droge, and
he's-
Phil Thomas, and Colleen DeCourcy, and Mark Darcy.
Right.
So we're all pals. Yeah,
So
I know
he
Nick very
said-
well.
So he said something really interesting that I read. He said, mediocrity is now free.
I love that.
Yeah, what
I
you-
agree
you?
1,000%. That's my point. Like anything's possible, but we're after excellence. So, you know, and I think you need that nuance that I think you get from life experiences, and I'm sure maybe it'll get more advanced, but hopefully in my lifetime, people like the amazing creative people we have all over through WPP and that are here too, and other companies too.
Right.
There's so many amazing, brilliant people, and outside of ad agencies, you know, inside of in-house agencies, and creators and musicians. Like, man, when you come here, you really feel that you are surrounded by brilliant creative minds that are brave. And yes, technology will be a tool that we continue to use. For us, our sweet spot has been creativity, human creativity, plus technology, plus human insights and humanity. So I feel like we're one of the better companies at nailing that trifecta, and the work shows.
Right. Give me a few examples, one or two examples of work, say maybe from the past year, that I mean, it might not be award-winning work even, but just something that has sort of struck you and
Just in general,
just
not
just
just
in
about
general.
AI, just in
Yeah,
general.
yeah.
Well, I think the work that AB InBev has done for Corona, with the help of David, our agency out of Ogilvy, where they help farmers grow limes for their beer. Corona, the experience of a Corona, it's night and day whether you have a lime or not.
Right.
China doesn't grow limes, or doesn't grow great limes. So we, you know, the AB InBev helped teach the farmers how to grow limes, and now it's a product. The Corona Extra limes are sold in stores, and it's totally transformed what Corona means to people in China. So when we're doing those kinds of ideas in a country like China,
And that's purpose-driven, right? At the end of
it's purpose, but it's
yeah,
also profit-driven.
Yeah.
It's okay.
You're linking purpose and profits.
Yeah,
I mean,
so
why not?
it's genius. You know, when I
Yeah.
saw that, I was like feeling good, because I think if we can bring creativity to a place like China, that's wildly creative, but in advertising it hasn't been as creative as maybe some other countries.
Yeah, maybe
I feel
it's
we're
too
on,
functional. Maybe it's
we're on the right path.
It is time for a short break. On the other side, Havas India announced the launch of their global talent communications agency, Havas People, in the country. We're catching up with Rupert, Grose Global CEO, Havas People, and Rana, Barua, Group CEO of Havas Group India, on the other side of this break. Welcome back. This week, Havas India has announced the launch of the global talent communications agency, Havas People, in the country. With this move, the network further strengthens its growing portfolio of specialized expertise. Now, a full-service employer branding agency, Havas People is headquartered out of London. Its work spans across every aspect of people agenda, from internal communications that drive employee engagement and performance through to employer brand positioning to attracting future talent. To tell us more about getting this specialized outfit to the country, the timing of it, and what is the need gap that it is filling, we are joined in by Rupert Grose, Global CEO of Havas People, and Rana Barua, Group CEO of Havas Group India. Listen in. So you're talking to clients in India, and what is the kind of solution that they're looking for currently?
Well, our global clients have been talking to us for a number of weeks, months, years about, are you in India? Because we have talent challenges. We're looking for people in that market. So that's been a driver for us to be in India. I think from a market point of view in India, I think there is a growing economy that we feel is a ripe time for an organization like us to be in the market to offer services around employer branding.
So, as Rupert said, global brands are inquiring whether you are in India. Rana, from you, I want to know, first of all, how many people will Havas People have in the country, and what is the kind of need gap that you're fulfilling with getting in this agency to the country?
So to begin with, naturally, we are going to keep it small because we are going to be working very closely with the UK agency because that's how we work. So Havas People will probably have around 4 to 5 people to begin with for the first 6 months because we've already kind of understood the kind of nature of scope of work that we'll be getting from some of the global clients. So we've kind of mapped it to that. But the entire support will come from the UK agency in terms of work, processes, systems, which is actually a much easier way of working because they are the experts, right? We are starting the journey here and we are not saying we understand the business as much as the UK agency understands. But why we are also going to follow this simple process is because what we realize is that, the need is naturally growing. And, every discussion we are having and every kind of article or press that you read is about growing economy, a lot of job openings, how do you manage the millennials, how do you manage the Gen Zs? Because India is the youngest economy in terms of people working. I'm talking about the fastest growing economy with the youngest population. And I think one of the biggest challenges that we are going to start facing, or if not, we've already started facing, is loyalty to organizations, engagement with people. How are you going to retain people? How are you going to ensure there is stability? These conversations are going to start. If not, like I said, if it's already begun, great. And this is the gap that we are going to fill in because if you're seeing a fast growing economy, there are the challenges that's starting to happen. And that's where Havas People steps in with the kind of solutions, and it's an end-to-end solution making.
So retaining people?
Retaining, attracting, maintaining, engaging with them. Some of the best practices that's happening globally is something that we are going to start practicing in India.
Yeah, and if you can, on that note, you gave me a great segue. On that note, Rupert, if you can share with me, what are some of the trends that you are seeing globally in terms of talent retention and acquisition?
For us, it's very much about the employee experience of employees, whether they work there. Does it actually match the promise that was made to them when they were actually looking to join the organisation at the start? That's one big thing. I think retention is big. So what are the factors that make people want to stay? What are the factors that make people want to leave as well? And how can we engage with employees to make them really feel that this is the place for me to stay? I think you've got issues around talent and gaps in the market. So whilst some companies are losing talent, they're also finding it hard to fill certain types of roles, particularly in the tech space. So data science, cybersecurity are 2 really good examples where our clients are coming to us and saying, where do we find these people? Because there just don't seem to be that many of them. So what we need to do, I guess, is to actually think, okay, why would those people want to come and work for this particular company? So how can we tell that story in an engaging way that this rare talent finds them. I think some other things that are also happening. Obviously, you've got artificial intelligence.
Yes.
You know, what's that going to mean for the employment space? What's that going to mean for any organisation?
Yeah. And we have been discussing on the outside, how talent is a big issue, but it is a big issue even within the agency ecosystem, within the agency setup. Rana, what can be done?
So I think, one of the big things is what we understand is the lacuna of communication. So even, for example, advertising and media, and I think being part of Ad Club and 3 Years of I and all, I think one of the big things we recognize is that, are we communicating well? We know, if you just look at the opportunities that in industry we offer, I don't think it's coming out. So I think we need to take cognizance of the fact is that, we are still behaving in a way that as if the world outside knows what we do.
Sure.
Oh, we've got, so I'll just give you my example. I think, okay, I have 16, 17 odd companies. Does talent really know that I have so many companies and opportunities and expertise? Maybe I need to sit with Rupert and discuss a communication strategy for myself, because I'm very happy with what we have built and our people are very happy. You've been in our office, you feel the excitement. Does talent really know there's something called market? Does talent really know there's something called Havas Play? Does talent know there's Havas People? Can you imagine the number of opportunities that's opening? I think we need to also communicate in a very systematic and professional basis about the kind of opportunities that we are opening up.
As an industry.
As an industry, and I'm talking about as an industry for all the groups.
Yeah.
Imagine, we hire so many people. If you look at the entire industry, there's so many people. We need to also go out and, kind of say that, guess what, you can come and work with us because we also have a content division. How many people know that Havas has a content division and so many of them? So I think the big lacuna is this structured conversation that we need to have to attract talent.
With that, it's a wrap on Storyboard this week. You can catch all of our content on Facebook, Twitter and YouTube. Thanks for watching. We will be back same time next week. See you soon.